I was always the oddly dressed girl even at school who always added her personal touch.
You're a stylist, you're an entrepreneur.
I want to cut you off there. Not many people know this, but I started my career as a journalist.
Yeah.
And Devna was the boss lady at NDTV. She was.
No, not at all.
The market is so diverse, and right now, having a big dairy is considered desirable and cool, and and people are getting it, artificially done. Alia Bhatt, she's been re-wearing a lot of her wedding clothes. She's championing sustainability in a way, right?
You do mainly styling for campaigns, ads, brands,
Correct.
events,
Yeah.
but not movies.
Yeah. I am doing a film now, but yes, I do stay away from movies.
Weddings are bread and butter.
48 lakh weddings are set to be taking place between November and December.
And the average spend and budgets have
Is
gone
massive.
up substantially,
Substantially.
right? Rahul Misra,
Ethereal,
Gaurav Gupta,
sexy,
Sabyasachi,
classic,
Tarun,
goddess,
Manish,
diva,
Anita Dongre.
earthy.
Namita, I'm looking forward to such a fun interview with you. But first off, look at us.
I know, we're in sync.
We really
I love
are.
it.
And I'm actually so happy about that because you're a stylist that I really respect. So I must be doing something right.
You are. I love the denim and pink. It's very
Thank
cool.
you.
And we're definitely mirroring each other.
You look fab as well. And I'm so excited about this. I want to talk to you about the start.
I want to cut you off there and tell
Yeah.
you, it's a very full circle moment for me, Devna.
I know.
Not many people know this, but I started my career as a journalist.
Yeah.
And Devna was the boss lady at NDTV. She was
No, not at all.
so...
More like a pavement reporter sitting on the pavement eating vada pavs, waiting for corporate CEOs to come
Show
out
up.
of their offices and like chase them. But I think
yeah.
I do think that culture and the way we worked there has taught us a lot about work even now.
100%.
Yeah. The work ethic, the ability to work hard, the way, the ability to commit. Those days have brought us here.
Correct.
And now look at us.
I know, look at us.
Sitting across
Totally
each other.
pivoted.
It's really amazing. And I love that we
know.
both come here and we're able to do this, really.
No, thank you. It's
and
a
I've watched
pleasure.
your journey now for the last couple of years. And like I said, I want to do this before you reach a level where you'll be like, Devna, I just don't have time for you.
No, never. That'll never happen.
I know where your potential is, Namita, and I want to start at the start of it. So you were at NDTV as a journalist.
Yeah.
You're a stylist. You're an entrepreneur. You're an artist. How did you realize you are a creative being and a creative soul?
Devna, I think it's... I don't think it's a point where you realize that. I think I've always been this way. And now when I try to understand who I am and I really look inward and I go back to my parents, and they've always told me I've always been like this. They could see signs of, creative streak with me right when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I was always the oddly dressed girl even at school who always added her personal touch.
Yeah.
I was not good at math. I was always good at just, my handwriting was very good.
Yeah.
I could draw well.
Yeah.
I did sculpture. I was good at that. So anything creative, I just leaned to. So I don't think it's a realization. I think it's just been a huge part of who I am. I've just been born that way, I guess, where I'm just more creatively inclined. Yeah.
So you started with styling your friend, Diana Penty.
Yeah.
Now, what is it like to style someone that perfect? I mean, she really
is.
There's so much fun in it, right? You can throw on anything. She'll look great in anything. Of course, not everyone can style her the way you do.
Yeah.
But what is it like?
So Diana and I, we actually joke about this, that we play Barbie. We actually are playing real life Barbie.
Yeah.
I'm happy that she trusts me and my creative process, of course, but we really have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I try to keep her personality in mind. She's, because I know her so well as well, it makes the process easier in a way.
Yeah.
But we do have fun playing dress up. And of course, she makes everything work. And then again, that process was so organic. I actually left my job at NDTV and came to this only because I was advising her just on a friend level.
Yeah.
And, suddenly we realized, okay, something's working. Maybe I could do this on a more serious level. And one thing led to another. But
that's quite a leap.
It was a leap.
Financially, from like
oh, of course,
that paycheck you're getting.
Yeah, regular
every
monthly
month to,
paycheck.
like, styling one person.
Yeah.
Who at that time was big, but not like huge in a way.
Diana was on the cusp. It was post her first film, which really catapulted. Cocktail became really big, and she was in the limelight. She just was moving from supermodel status to actor status. And what was lucky for us is we got Cannes. She was invited to the Cannes Film Festival, and that was a big moment for the both
your
of us.
looks at Cannes, because a lot of people ridiculed a lot of people's looks, and I don't want to get into that because we don't want to get into negative feedback at all. But your looks for her really stood out.
Thank you.
How do you plan? How do you, like, what does your mood board look like?
So, I work in 3 compartments. First compartment is who you are as a person. This can be celebrity, sports person, regular person, business person, whoever you are, mother, like whoever you are. Who are you? That's compartment 1. Compartment 2, what is the atmosphere right now around style and fashion, right? What are people talking about? What are people wearing? What are the big houses doing? So that's just what's the environment currently. And the third thing is what that person can carry. So if the two marry each other, try to find a mid gap. And I just feel that's really interesting because you have to somehow marry who you are and what's currently cool as well, because you want to be kind of cool but not stay away from your own style as well. So I think those 3 compartments kind of make it easy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And even with Jacqueline, you've been styling her for a while as well.
Again, a very easy canvas to work on.
and you do a lot of international looks for them. So logistically, how does that work?
It's a nightmare. I'll be honest, it's a nightmare. If you ask any stylist, they will tell you it's a nightmare. If they say otherwise, it's not true. No matter how big you are, I think logistically we all face the same issue, customs issues, things like that. We have people flying down sometimes with our things. We sometimes put people on planes from our team to fly down with garments. It's happened many times.
And jewelry, right?
Jewelry as well, but mainly clothes. But jewelry, because of customs regulations, is easy to work with. Brands in the same city. So say for example, if I'm in Cannes, I'll work with international jewelry brands in Cannes and in France. And similarly, when I'm in India, I work with brands here. But logistically, when clothes are coming in and out, it's a mess. We have good partners we work with and just pray that everything works out.
And then you obviously have backups to backups.
Yes, of course.
In case things don't get delivered or they get stuck and whatnot.
Yeah.
So now that canvas also, from where you can choose or you select, is so wide.
It is.
Is it not a little overwhelming? Like you have Indian designers, you have Asian designers, you have Middle Eastern designers, you have Western designers who have always been around, but also funky ones that have come up there. There's a marriage of textile, embroidery, art, fashion, politics, all of that that has gone into it as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what does that do for your profession and for you personally?
Wow, so that's a very interesting question. So I'll tell you, Instagram has also changed the game, right? Brands are a lot more accessible. I started in this when Instagram wasn't as big and we were emailing designers, know, and like hoping somebody responds.
Let's not be so obvious about our age.
I know. But literally sending out emails and things like that. And now Instagram has been a lot easier. Brands respond faster. I feel even smaller brands that have been around, I mean, look at the story of brands like Jacqueline and things like that. They've suddenly exploded in like 5-6 years, right? So Instagram has changed the space of designers as well. Of course, there are your marquee, great big houses that everybody loves to work with. And I like to work with a lot of vintage. So I like to work with the big designers, but a lot of their older collections. I love working with vintage pieces. I feel, again, it depends on the event. It depends on what you're styling. if I'm doing an international event, I try and support my Indian designers and I want them to have that marquee moment. So I had a lovely moment like that in Cannes with Amit Agarwal in his early days in 2019. And that's very precious to me, you know, that sari that he and I created together for Diana in 2019. And so those kind of moments you want, I could have got any other international designer for that particular day and that event in Cannes. But it was important for me to work with an Indian designer. And I think a lot of stylists think that way. So while you want to spread your wings, you also want to work with, I mean, India is so rich with textile and fabric and just art. So, you know, why not use that as well? But it's nice to also, the world's become small in a way, you know. With Jacqueline recently, we worked with Saudi Arabia, with the government, and we did a magazine cover and things like that. So I worked completely with UAE-based designers then, you know, because it just made sense for that market. And it was a Middle East issue. So I guess it depends on project to project, but the world has become so small now, it's just...
But you do mainly styling for campaigns, ads, brands,
Correct.
Events,
Yeah.
but not movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's now it's changed. I am doing a film now with one actor, not the full film, and I have done a web series. But yes, I do stay away from movies.
Yeah.
I've been offered in my career many chances and opportunities to get into films. But the reason I've not done it is because I feel costume styling and celebrity styling are two different jobs. This is how I view it personally. When you're doing costume, you're dressing a character. So for example, I'm dressing Veena, who's from Delhi, who's middle-aged, or a young girl, college-going girl, or works in a, a computer IT firm or something like that. So it's very specific, you know. And while it's a beautiful journey to create a character and to create this character in this imaginary world in a film, I just feel that's not the creative space I come from. I'm very off the moment. What's going on right now? I like to know
and you
economically,
like a little bit of
politically.
drama
in your
looks.
Yeah,
which
I
you
do.
can't really achieve in characters in regular films.
Exactly. You
You
can't play around as much. Of course, there are certain films that allows you that canvas.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm now doing my first film, which has allowed me that. And even the web series that I've just completed, styling.
And you can't talk about that, or you can?
I actually can talk about the web series. I think considering it's over now, we're due to release it in December. It's with Geo.
Okay.
And it's a very young, youth-based show, and fashion was a huge talking point of the show. So that was exciting to me, you know. So I could do a long format. So we call this a longer format because it is 8-9 months of your life, you know. In this case, it was about 7 months. With prep, maybe 9 months. So let's see how that pans out. But I do think it's two different spheres, and I prefer sticking to sort of celebrity styling, shorter formats where it's brands, magazines,
events,
campaigns. I like to stick to that format.
Shorter but more dramatic sort of.
Yeah, where I can just create moments, create looks.
You've worked with many others as well.
Correct.
Who are some of the others that you like to work with or have done a lot of shoots with?
You know, I haven't worked with him much, but we have done a couple of projects together. I've really enjoyed my time with Madhavan. Okay, I've really enjoyed my time with Madhavan.
He's striking.
And very intelligent.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of personal conversations and just spoken about the universe and the world, and I really enjoy him as a personality. I also enjoy Jacqueline as a personality a lot because she is very well read as well. I learn a lot about fitness and biohacking, and she'll throw all these, health. I've become very health conscious because of her, because she's very spot on with all of this and what's going on in that sphere. So I think, who else is noteworthy that I've enjoyed working with? A lot of personal styling personalities.
Yes,
actually.
I'll get to that for sure. Your personal styling and your weddings also.
Correct.
In fact, speaking of weddings, you did the styling for Patra Lekha, and it was very distinctly unique from a lot of the wedding pictures we've seen of celebrities, a lot simpler.
Yeah. Patra and Raj actually have been together for so long.
Obviously because of their personalities also.
It's their personalities, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the love is so evident there, and they had a very intimate, beautiful wedding with their friends, and it was really beautiful. And her brief to me was very simple. She's very connected to her dog, wanted her dog to be a big part of the wedding, which we did make it happen, Gaga. I kind of mirrored Patra's Sabyasachi on Gaga, and that kind of became a trend in a way. And yeah, they just were a beautiful couple to work with, and she's lovely, and their functions were also a little offbeat and fun, so I could really have fun with dressing her up for, you know, multiple functions. Yeah, so it was really nice.
Obviously, weddings are bread and butter.
Devna, can I give you a statistic right now?
For most stylists, right?
48 lakh weddings are set to be taking place between November and December 2024. 48 lakh Indian weddings. That's a statistic, yeah.
And the average spend and budgets have
It's
gone
massive.
up substantially,
Substantially.
right? Because as you said, Instagram, so it's all about creating the look
Exactly.
for Instagram, right?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
for your album anymore.
It's not anymore.
It's for what you're putting out there.
Yeah.
But are there also people left in this sphere of things who don't want their pictures out there and still want the elaborate looks?
Funnily enough, I think those are the weddings I do because the few weddings I've done have all been a no social media kind of wedding where phones are practically not allowed. They don't appreciate posting. There are no hashtags.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say I'm not allowed to talk about it much,
Okay.
but because, you know, of we have kind of
Yes,
like
of course.
certain NDA signed and confidentiality and things like that. But with the families I've worked with, we've done such phenomenal looks, whether it's international couture, Indian couture at its finest.
Give me an
literally,
example, not of the person, but of one of the looks that you may have done.
let's just say we may have created the first Dolce Gabbana lehenga.
Really?
But
Wow.
one would never know, would have never seen a picture of it or known of it.
And now brides are getting more experimental.
Very experimental, and they're doing exotic locations. They want to all do very custom looks as well. You know, I'm currently working with a bride in Tanzania, and she is fourth generation Indian, but has a very clear idea of what she wants to look like. Very much aware of what's going on in India and everything, and that's only because of social media, right?
So she connected with you over social media.
Over social media.
Saw your work and reached out
Correct.
to you from Africa.
Yeah, literally.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That really is social media at its best.
Correct.
You do a lot of personal styling also, right?
Yes, I do, yeah.
And that again, you won't be able to speak about who and what and
Correct,
everything.
yeah.
But there are people who require and ask for social styling. I mean, personal styling now because of the number of events
Of
everyone
course.
is attending and
Yeah.
whatnot.
It's not only the number of events they've done, it's also, I always ask my clients, right? Who do you see yourself as in the next 5 years? I believe fashion is the first language you use literally when you walk into the room, right? So I ask my people, okay, listen, I ask a client, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then I feel I like to curate their look based on that, who they are, what their lifestyle is, how they do day-to-day life, because it's not about that one event. It's just about how you are. For me, style is in everything, right? How you go to the gym, what you wear to sleep. For me, it's a continuation of who you are. All of it is a story about who you tell, how you are as a person. So, say if I've worked with a politician's wife, for example, I don't see her as just a politician's wife. She probably runs universities, or she's a mother, she does charitable endeavors, she also supports her husband. So I have to take her through looks, through all of these things. So we kind of really sit in the on a drawing board and talk
Your
about
storytelling.
We're storytelling. We talk about all aspects of her life and try and curate a capsule wardrobe or certain key pieces if she has certain big events. But more or less, I try to do a capsule wardrobe that just kind of encapsulates every sphere of her life, because none of us are just one person, right?
Absolutely.
We all do so many things.
Absolutely right.
And time is a factor. A lot of them don't have time. A lot of these people who come to me don't have time, whether it's a CEO of a company or whether it's, like I said, a politician's wife, or it's currently I'm working with somebody in corporate India, and
getting so
can't name
nervous.
it. I'm just thinking how far I could speak,
Yeah.
but again, just a busy lifestyle and just wants a change, wants to feel different. It's like, listen, I've been stuck in a rut. I feel like I've been wearing the same clothes, and I'm now in an elevated position, and I need to up it, and I want to. I just don't know how to. Or I'm shifting cities, and I want to change because the city now, like I'm moving. A lot of people when they move to Delhi feel like Delhi is a little more demanding,
Yeah.
and so they're like, listen, we really need to up our fashion game. So you need to tell us what are the bags we need to buy, what are the shoes we need to buy, accessories, this, that, because Delhi is social and everyone wants to keep their fashion game up. So yeah.
Wow. Your personal style and what you like to dress people as. I mean, I've seen a lot of jackets, clean lines.
Yeah.
I can see that. Shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads, yeah.
Shoulder
Shoulder pads are just an illusion, Devna. It makes your waist look smaller.
Yeah.
So I love doing a shoulder pad always because I just feel it's so complimenting. It makes the rest of you look so tiny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick thing. On average, if someone was to style, needed a personal styling regime for 3 months, okay? Let's say 8 occasions per month. What would the charges be?
You want me to get into numbers?
100%. I love numbers.
I know, you come from a numbers background.
Yeah.
So, I'll be honest, it actually works differently with different people. It works according to the profile of the person, what exactly they need. Am I putting, like right now I'm doing for a personal client in corporate India, summer and a winter wardrobe, for example, but we've demarcated it as 20 pieces. So I'm doing 20 pieces. That will encapsulate, so 10 summer, 10 winter. Okay, so I think for that you can charge anywhere between 5 and 10. Okay, but like put the full look together, okay?
5 and 10 lakhs, just to be sure.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, because the client will negotiate.
Of course.
The client will negotiate. But I do think that it again depends on the profile of the person, also the budget of buying, right?
Yes.
So for example, a particular client will have a different kind of budget to buy, will only want to buy international labels. So in that case, obviously, you can charge a client because you are also doing a lot of international shipments and things like that. So it'll change as opposed to buying domestic homegrown where your shipments are not that expensive and it's easier to kind of
But do
back-channel.
Indian designers work with stylists to sort of like a fee, in terms of like giving them discounts if they give them enough work or enough
I
sort
think
of
when
business.
you do the bigger weddings, of course, it's happened with us in the past as well. That of course, when you're giving them 4-5 crores worth of business in one billing,
that happens, huh?
they do. That does happen. That does happen with certain couture, custom made, and in a single billing. If you're doing more than a crore, I mean, Indian designers also couture have become expensive, and rightly so because the craftsmanship is incredible. And then of course there's no kickback, so to speak, but they of course remember you and maybe gift you something, or the relationship gets better. And you of course like it when a designer is approachable and you can sit with them, and even the client likes that experience as well, right? Because these are all the top tier bridal designers. So when it's also access, it's giving that experience, all of that.
But do people want to follow trends, or do they want to look different from others?
Again, it depends on
Very
the client.
individual.
It's very individual.
Who would you say is in favor right now in terms of designers abroad and in India? The top 2 or 3 that sort of are really having their moment.
I mean, Sabyasachi for a long time has been, is known very well in the West as well. I mean, now he's got, he's
got a great store.
He's in Bergdorf's as well. Rahul Misra is making great strides internationally as well. They all have diffusion lines as well. So I think Rahul, Sabya, Tarun as well. So I think they're still the hot favorites.
You feel like Tarun's come back?
I mean, Tarun would never go away.
He's one of my ultimate favorites in terms of design, workmanship, originality, creativity. There's no one quite like him.
Tarun as well.
But I feel like for a brief hiatus, he had kind of
I think just because
fallen back in terms of limelight, spotlight, and
so I think, see, this is
out
what social
there?
media does, right? I
Yeah.
think people feel that because he's not as, I guess, present as the other brands are not doing as much. But I still think Tarun has his market with his. Just go to his bridal store in Delhi. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
absolutely stunning. And I think people who know, who want to feel feminine as a bride, like just very like goddess-like, still turn to Tarun. And Tarun
Yeah,
still
yeah,
has a
he's-
huge market.
Yeah.
It's just that he might not be as
out there.
but there's Tarun still has his loyal following.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you say are style icons for you
Okay.
in the celebrity space in India and in the West? Your top 2 or 3.
In the celebrity space in India, I really like the way. I mean, I don't want to be cliche, but Rekha for just an all-time classic. I just feel now when I refer, right, actually go back to Rekha's 80s and 90s looks. I think she was way ahead of her time.
Definitely.
Way ahead of her time. Just, I want to know what kind of mood boards she was referencing, you know, in terms of makeup, hair, costume. I love it. Currently, I really like Shobita Dhulipala. I really like, I just feel she wears clothes very effortlessly. It's like there's no effort in how she dresses, and I like that. There's also a designer, Monica. She has a brand called Jade.
Yes, of course.
So Monica,
Yeah.
I really like her personal style.
Yeah.
I think she wears clothes very effortlessly, and I like it when you wear clothes and the clothes are not wearing you.
Yeah.
So you know, like you're wearing a brand, but you can't really.
Yeah.
It's like the clothes are an extension of them. So I feel like even Rekha, when she wears a Kanjivaram, it's an extension of who she is.
Understood. And in the West, who do you like? Who styles? Zendaya. I'm sure Zendaya.
I love Zendaya in the
Yeah.
current lot of people,
Yeah.
but I like Kate Blanchett.
She's amazing.
I just
She's so
love
timeless.
her. She's timeless,
one
and I
of my
think
favorites.
even when she dresses edgy, she still looks kind of classic.
Yeah.
So she does those edgy styles in still a very classic way.
It's also because of her hair and her personality and
just amazing,
slick.
slick. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so if there was someone, what would you say? Is it a lucrative business? Is this the time, you know, for fashion, stylists, the whole ecosystem?
It's a time for everything where you see a gap in the market.
Yeah.
Okay, I think anything can be lucrative if you find a gap to fill.
Yeah.
Why did I do weddings? The weddings came to me and I thought, okay, how can I pivot further from celebrity styling? And they both feed off each other, right? So why does the wedding client come to you? Because you style celebrity,
Yeah.
because Bollywood still reigns
Right,
supreme.
of course, they all feed into
So
each
it's
other.
it all kinds of feeding into each other. So I just feel anything one does, if you realize there's a gap in the market
Yeah.
and you fulfill that,
Yeah.
you're able
But
to
you
do
feel
it.
like there's space for all of it now. There's space for someone young to come into this career.
Of course.
Even just to personal style.
Yeah.
And there's money in it. Someone to do weddings, someone
Of
to do
course.
ads, someone
Yeah.
to do...
I think
you
if
know,
someone just figures wedding styling and just does that, it's a great business. Like that is all you do. You just style weddings.
Yeah.
Superb. If someone wants to do personal styling, if they want to do
Yeah.
just brand collaborations, what influencers are doing. I mean, it's endless now.
How much do you travel?
A fair amount.
Yeah.
A fair amount. I think people who follow me know that. But yeah, I do travel a fair amount
But
for work and otherwise.
But international designers are obviously, it's India's moment in the spotlight.
Of course, yeah.
For everything, of consumption, fashion, celebrity, all of it.
Yeah.
Are they recognizing that and sort of making India a very dominant market?
Yes. I was at Couture Week last year and we saw Rahul Misra's show, and I saw a lot of other international designers as well. And last year, and Rahul's show really stood out. And people were talking about it. Similarly with Gaurav as well.
I think Gaurav Gupta is just...
He's really having a moment.
And I think he's
Adele
having a real
recently-
international moment more than India also.
And I feel like his style is evolving as well. He's creating his understanding. He's got a market now internationally. And he's also evolving as a designer, which is so interesting to see. So while he's doing his brides in India, he's also evolving as style and his creative process
Yeah.
with a very Indian aesthetic. I can't
Yeah.
explain it, but
Yeah.
yet it's internationally palpable.
Cultural, Western, classic,
Classic.
and yet Indian craftsmanship.
Exactly, it's that fine line that he's kind of towing that balance,
Yeah.
and he's really understood that market, and it's been amazing for him.
Obviously, in the segment you're operating, people are less price sensitive.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah?
I wouldn't say that. You'd be surprised, Devna, how even people with a lot of who've got a lot of disposable income and behind big are still very price conscious, and they want the best. And I don't see why that's wrong. You know. If you were buying an expensive piece of art, you still do your due diligence. I think similarly, when they're spending money on clothes, they want to know options, they want to do their due diligence, they want to see it as an investment or see whether, okay, how many ways they can wear this one piece. It's no more just for that one occasion.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfectly fair. You know, it's hard-earned money at the end of the day. Whether you have, 8 or 10 zeros behind it, it's still all hard-earned money. And people are price sensitive as well. It depends again from client to client, but I don't think there's a correlation of if you have money or not price conscious.
You know, there are whisperings that
I feel that 1% that is the luxury spender is spending. So as long as that 1% keeps spending, it's good.
I'm going to give you some designer names.
Okay.
Tell me a word for their style.
Okay.
Or how you would look in their outfits.
Shoot.
Rahul Misra.
Ethereal.
Gaurav Gupta.
Sexy.
Sabyasachi.
Classic.
Tarun.
Goddess.
Manish.
Diva.
Anita Dongre.
Earthy.
And very Indian.
Just
like that,
very Indian.
Like she's done the Indian
beautiful.
Barbie and
she's
stuff
done the
like that.
Indian Barbie, and her work, Anita's like hand painted work on lehenga. I'm a huge fan of just, again, how she's created the business, so to speak, and just still kept true to the craftsmanship. Like, it's just unbelievable.
Now even designers are recognizing the need to be inclusive.
No, you have to. There's no choice.
Yeah.
The market is so diverse, and right now, having a big derriere is considered desirable and cool, and and people are getting it, artificially done. So.
Wow, my God, that's amazing. I had no idea.
Two trends that I'm seeing.
Or makeup, or accessories, or whatever.
I'm seeing a lot of like. A very classic lace, like people are doing a lot of lace, okay? So for example, like a lace bodysuit with a jacket and jeans. I'm seeing like lace saris, I'm seeing lace in Western wear. I'm just seeing a lot of lace.
Okay.
So I feel like lace is having a moment.
Yeah? And what do you predict is going to become big?
What I predict is going to become big. It depends when this interview is going to air, but...
in a week.
In a week. But I mean, we're going into festive season, so I'm going to give a generic answer. We're going to see a lot more metallics, a lot of bling. But I think it's going to be classic. I think burgundy as a color is going to reign bigger than red. I think normally people lean towards red for Christmas. But I think now people are going to see this deep burgundy and that kind of rich cherry tones and browns going into burgundy and that kind of palette.
Luxury becoming more understated, or you have...
It's already happening.
Or it's bipolar.
No, it's already happening.
Yeah?
Yeah. But again, it's again which client and which market, right? Someone in... I don't want to again name countries and get into trouble, but it depends again where you're from.
Let's talk about the Middle East, okay? Which is a totally different
market, correct?
That exists on its own. But do you feel now, even in India, of course, globally, they've been sort of this understated luxury for a while.
Of course.
But do you find it coming into India also?
Yes. People are becoming way more aware of understated luxury. People now, I know people sometimes...
So that label is starting to...
fall.
Yeah.
It is. I know people now who have an ick carrying a Birkin because they just feel it's too generic. Like now it's become aspirational and people are buying it at second-hand markets, so they don't want to carry a Birkin. They'd rather carry a Romargo because that's a little more if you know, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like carry something like a little more demure and not in your face because... So it depends again. It really depends on personal style and all of that. Yeah.
Do you feel that people are also making political statements with their fashion? Do you have clients like that?
Of course.
Who are interested in the politics of the moment?
Of course, 100%.
Give me an example.
I think I think also what's going on in the world dictates fashion in a huge way, right? Which is why now I think we are seeing a little bit of a little more understated fashion, even globally, okay? And I'm just saying it's because of the current climate around,
I get it.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, for example, in India, I think a very good relatable example would be Alia Bhatt. She's been re-wearing a lot of her wedding
Yes.
clothes, and I think that's a very good point to talk about in India. She's championing sustainability in a way, right? And saying re-wearing is cool, and I think that's making a huge political statement in a way, right?
Yeah.
So I think fashion dictates, Donald
Messaging.
Trump, the current messaging, right? He's always in a red tie, Republican tie. So I think its messaging is huge.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And may you continue to prosper
Thank you.
creatively and financially.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.